In our day-to-day lives, we often forget that we're surrounded by great people and great initiatives. Through the material prepared by our reporters, we turn to important things and stories that inspire and matter. Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Konrad Gorliński. We start our journey today with a trip to Kielce. Our first hero is a young glider pilot who walks with his head in the clouds. The sky adventure that his parents gave him is a unique experience that many dream of. Imagine the sensation of gliding through the sky with nothing but the wind beneath your wings and the vast expanse of the horizon stretching out before you. It's a celestial voyage that captivates the soul and ignites the imagination, a journey reserved for those who dare to dream and reach for the stars. So now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Flying is a key part of my life, and I want it to stay that way, as both a profession and a hobby. I am currently enrolled at the University College of Applied Sciences, majoring in aircraft piloting. And here are the parachutes, required equipment.
Jeżeli chodzi o pojedynczy lot, to moim największym sukcesem jest lot z 2019
For a single
roku.
outing, my biggest success was the 2019 flight along a 750 kilometers route from Stalowa Wola to Leszno, near Rawicz and back. The average airspeed was around 85 kilometers per hour, which gives us nearly 10 hours of flight time. The trip broke over a dozen national records. My other biggest success is nabbing the Polish Championship twice, in the B Club class, flying a Foka glider, and in the A Club class, flying a Jantar. These happened in 2018 and 2020,
W
respectively.
2018 i 2020 roku.
Mistrzostwo Polskie Juniorów, złoty medal się tutaj u nas już długo.
The flying club never had a junior national championship before. We've had medals, but never the gold, which is why it was so unprecedented. It was also a big inspiration to our younger pilots that train with us. When you're just starting out flying, having a champion at your club is a big
Się
boost.
tutaj szkolą, rozpoczynają swoją przygodę, no to posiadanie jakby mistrza w klubie jest bardzo motywujące.
Życie obok dwóch pilotów, prawda, mąż i syn, to nie jest życie łatwe.
Having both your husband and your son be pilots doesn't make for an easy life. It's an emotional ride, and it's not just highs but also lows, like fear and anxiety. Obviously, aviation and flying is by definition a risky endeavor. At first, the fear was staggering, but I never told my son to find something else.
I na początku ten lek był ogromny. Natomiast ja na pewno nie mówiłam synowi, synu, zmień pasję.
Przede mną najważniejsze zawody w moim życiu najprawdopodobniej.
I'm gearing up perhaps the most important competition in my life, the Junior World Gliding Championship, held in Tabor, 80 kilometers south of Prague in the Czech Republic. Then I'm heading to Polish Junior Nationals in Ostrów Wielkopolski.
Pierwszy lot to jak Maciek miał 4 lata, to był bardziej test. Wybieraliśmy się.
We were supposed to fly on a jetliner, and you never know how a preschooler is going to take it.
Dziecko różnie może znosić podróż samolotem, więc wsadziłem go.
So I took him up with some jumpers, and he was fine.
I przeżył. Dobrze, że był przypięty, bo jak...
It's good he was strapped in, because once the doors opened and they tumbled out, he wanted to leap out after them.
To było nastawienie.
A promising attitude for a future aviator.
Teraz sprawdzę łączność.
Time for comms check.
Masłów radio, Jantar Sierra Oscar.
Masłów radio, Jantar Sierra Oscar, radio check. This is Masłów radio. We read you 5x5. Thank you. 5x5 here as well. We have good comms. Time to go up there. Winch, this is control.
Wyciągarka, kwadrat, pucha, 2 osoby, lina pozostała na prędzej.
Pamiętam w pewnym momencie po rozdaniu świadectw razem
One
z
day,
tatą,
after school ended in the summer, his dad took him for a flyover above Kielce. After that, Maciek began to change.
Samolotem. I po tym przelocie widziałam, że Maciek zaczął się zmieniać.
Wyciągarka, kwadrat, Jantar, 1 osoba.
Winch, this is control. Jantar glider, single person, northern cable, run it. Northern running.
Szybowiec ruszył, start.
Glider is moving. Launch, launch, launch.
Pierwsze zawody w życiu, jakie wygrałem w 2018 roku, wykonałem na szybowcu, który tata kupił mi na 16 urodziny.
For my first ever competition win in 2018, I flew on a glider my dad bought me for my 16th birthday. It was Polish SZD-24C Foka, a wooden design from the 1960s. Rather long in a tooth, but still one of the best beginner gliders. Today, I'm flying on the club's Jantar Standard 3, another Polish
Myślę, że
design.
na początku najtrudniejsze jest zorganizować się, żeby poświęcić całe wakacje na szkolenie
At first, the hardest thing is staying committed, deciding your whole summer break to basic training, because you sit around the field for 10 to 12 hours only to make 5 or 6 flights. It's hard on you mentally, because you expect spending your whole day up in the air, but instead you're sitting on the ground, helping around. You collect winch cables, log your friends' launch times. It's a lot.
To schodzi dużo czasu. Podstawowym wymogiem do pojechania na zawody szybowcowe jest wylatanie 100 godzin jako dowódca
To
statku
even sign up for a glider competition, you need to have a glider license and 100 hours of flight time logged as a glider captain, which boils down to basically 2-3 years spent on a field. What does a glider competition look like? Up to 100 gliders can be involved. Winches launch them to an altitude of about 600 meters. Then they detach and the pilots are on their own from there. At altitude, we fly along a declared route, for example, from Kielce to Częstochowa, then to Stalowa Wola and back. It's around 400 kilometers. Then we check who flew the route the fastest.
I potem po całym dniu patrzymy, kto ten trójkąt wleciał najszybciej.
In Poland, competitions like that usually take 8 to 10 days. Why this long? Because you need a minimum of 3 runs to qualify. Plus, the weather must be good. Sometimes it rains and there are storms. Sometimes the thermals are weak and there is no lift. When training for World Championship, we fly in final pairs or threes that will stand in a competition and help each other out. But when we are nationals for junior flyers, everyone's on their own, because the competition is supposed to determine the best junior pilot, to show who's best at tackling the routes.
Kto sobie lepiej poradził z tymi trasami.
Maciek zdecydowanie przejawia cechy mistrza, czyli ma...
Maciek definitely has these champion qualities. He's very assertive. But when he was just starting out, he was a committed student, listened a lot. He looked up to the more experienced pilots. Now the tables have turned, and he's the one beginners are looking up to.
Teraz sytuacja się odwróciła i teraz ludzie już czerpią od niego tutaj te doświadczenia.
Good thermals are key. If you don't have a lift, the only thing you can do is launch and then touch down 5 minutes later. And we're looking for hours of solid flight time. Thermals are produced when the sun heats up the ground in certain circumstances that generates the updraft rising faster than the air around it. We can ride these columns or use them to cover large distances.
Wspieram go bardzo mentalnie, na pewno wspieramy go z mężem finansowo.
I provide mental support. And my husband and I also offer financial backing, because it's no secret that it's an expensive sport. We cheer on his dreams of flying. We're glad that it makes him happy.
I cieszymy się tym, że jest szczęśliwy.
Jeśli chodzi o latanie przelotowe, w którym mój syn się specjalizuje,
He's the master, I'm the student.
to w tej chwili to on ma dużo większe doświadczenie ode mnie, także to i ja mogę się uczyć od niego.
I hope to end up flying with some major airline. I can't imagine a future without aviation in it.
Nie wyobrażam sobie przyszłości.
Just recently, I competed at the Junior World Gliding Championships in Tabor. I placed 23rd out of 45 pilots. A major success in my opinion. I spent around 50 hours up in the air, covering some 4,000 kilometers.
In a world often consumed by turmoil, it's easy to overlook the silent sufferers dwelling amongst us. The stray animals, abandoned and left to fend for themselves, embody a heartbreaking reality that often escapes the eye. Yet amidst the shadows of neglect and indifference, there is hope. The unsung heroes dedicated to easing the plight of these vulnerable creatures. Our reporter went to talk to the volunteers who give hope to homeless animals. Let's take a look at this report.
We have seen many public service announcements campaigning for better treatment of animals. Poland is one of only a handful of countries with no-kill shelters, like Pegasus here. Natalia is a volunteer. As a full-time student, she spends her free time caring for the animals and handling the shelter's social media accounts.
We first of all treat them if they have any illnesses, and we provide them with any help they might need.
The Pegasus volunteers were the first to help people and animals in Ukraine when the war started. Since then, they have been taking care of many pets rescued from there, like Gucci, seen here with Natalia. Of course, all of these pups are available for adoption. In Poland, we will try to follow the example of the Netherlands, where there are virtually zero stray dogs. This was an initiative heavily backed by the government. It's not just cats and dogs that organizations like Pegasus help. There are horses, goats, llamas, raccoons, and other animals that need help.
Every day we begin around 7 a.m. with feeding, giving medicine and cleaning our animals. Our volunteers play a crucial role. They also provide this human touch to our animals by spending time with them. They go for walks with our dogs and sometimes also horses.
All of this is only possible with the support of ordinary people. NGOs is an organization that has 2 shelters, one in central Poland and the other in Lower Silesia. They specialize in rescuing abused animals through interventions and provide 24/7 veterinarian care on their sites. They have a modern approach towards animal sheltering, providing them with rooms and beds instead of cages.
For example, Japanese animal shelters are sometimes called animal concentration camps. There is often a limit of how many dogs a shelter can hold. If any more arrive, the ones held in the shelter the longest are killed to make space for the new ones.
NGOs is also working on updating the animal protection law in Poland.
The civil bill we are working on aims to change the current animal protection law. We want the bill to protect animals and not the abusers. Currently, only farm animals are protected by Polish law, and so it applies to companies and not individuals. Pet welfare isn't considered at all. That's why so many NGOs struggle to win animal abuse cases in court. This updated law will benefit all animals in Poland. The welfare of farm animals and pets will increase.
NGOs has also been awarded by international organization Network for Animals for their service in Ukraine following start of the full-scale invasion.
We received an honorary award from Network for Animals for our involvement in Ukraine. They visited our sites to better understand our mission. They saw we are trying to do something completely new in Poland.
War not only impacts people, but also the animals. They lose their homes, owners, and peace. Through organizations like NGOs, your help can reach animals in need. Of course, the best thing you can do is to adopt. Animal adoption is crossing borders. Pets rescued in Poland have found new homes in the United States, Canada, and many other countries. It is becoming gradually easier to travel with pets internationally. You can find the information necessary on your government website. While more pets are being adopted than ever before, if you would like to help, please consider adopting an animal or helping your local animal rescue organization.
Tulips, canals, and of course, windmills. We're going to the Netherlands. Today, many quintessential Dutch landmarks are in decay, but locals aren't ready to give up their heritage. Let's see what efforts they're making to restore the famous symbols of Dutch pride to their former glory.
The windmill is one of the most recognizable symbols of the Netherlands. By the 19th century, there were over 9,000 working windmills across this small country. But then industry replaced wind with the new hot invention, steam. Over decades, many windmills disappeared, others deteriorated and became non-operational. As the world moves forward, will they become relics? There are many around the Netherlands who wish to see existing mills restored and operational. The De Hollandse Molen Association is working to preserve all 1,200 wind and water mills remaining in the country. The main challenge is to replace the stocks, the long beams that hold the sails together. This became even more urgent after multiple stocks collapsed 3 years ago. It is estimated that around 500 mills will urgently require new stocks over the next decade. However, stocks are costly and the waiting list is long.
This is Die Onrust, a mill built in 1809. It is still responsible for regulating the water level in the Naardermeer, about 800 hectares of nature reserve. This mill, on its own, ensures that the area is safe in the winter. The stock of a blade is made of 2 steel tubes. It runs 26 meters from here to the other side. There is a similar steel tube at the back.
We have inspected welded steel windmill stocks. We did this because we saw that, despite structured maintenance, the number of breakages did not decrease. It turned out that the stocks of half of the mills will actually have to be replaced in the next 10 to 15 years.
The sail frame was rejected because it contained unreliable welds. I then asked for a second opinion. A different measuring method was used for this, which showed that the frame could probably be repaired. So after consultation, we had it repaired. Now we can continue for a while. This mill is fully operational as a pumping station. We have nothing else for 600 hectares of wetlands, only this mill. So it is important that it keeps running.
The problem with the sail stocks is actually the same throughout the Netherlands. We see that replacing those stocks takes longer in one province than in another, simply because the same amount of money is not made available everywhere. That is a problem.
Is it dangerous?
No, it's not dangerous. Millers and owners pay close attention to it. Some mills are out of operation because it would not be safe to run them. Fortunately, this mill can still run safely.
We're very busy. There is a lot of demand in the Netherlands for new sails, new stocks. Many windmills are standing still in the Netherlands. As a result, demand has grown considerably. We produce what we can and we try to get the Netherlands turning again as quickly as possible. I think we can produce 40 to 50 blades per year with all production lines together. There are more than 1,000 windmills in the Netherlands. A sail does not necessarily have to be bad, but may simply be at the end of its life and needs to be replaced. So there is still a lot of work to do. If everything goes according to plan, we will have a new sail frame before the end of the year. It's not actually a profession. It's more of a hobby that got out of hand. I enjoy the elements, the history, and the audience you get. People are always amazed how something so beautiful can continue to function.
Every old mill counts. When a New Year's Eve fire destroyed the hood of Ceres Mill in Boven-Skarpel, locals couldn't wait for the renovations to finish.
It's a wonder of wonders.
I really thought it was lost. They really deserve a gold medal.
When will it be running again? I'm hoping at the end of October, but I think I'm a little too premature. But I want it so badly. Preferably at the end of October. Yes, preferably at the end of October.
For many in the Netherlands, mills are not just functional. They are a part of their national pride and tradition. Events are regularly held to breathe new life into old structures. One of the more original ways in which young Dutchmen have celebrated their heritage is a breakdancing event. This move is called the windmill. Over 70 breakdancers from multiple countries met in Kinderdijk, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, to break the world record for the most simultaneous windmill moves completed in 30 seconds. It seems like whether operational or not, the windmills will survive as long as the Dutch continue to cherish their unique heritage.
And that's all we've prepared for you this week, but please join us again next week for another episode of In Focus. Thanks very much for joining us. Have a wonderful week.